Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about the Stack Overflow 2022 Developer Survey. In 2022 there was a survey which happens, and then more than 70,000 developers just responded to the survey, and we're going to just look into some of the important part of this survey. Obviously I'm going to leave the link of this survey in the description, and if you want to just dive deep into a specific part you can look into it. But we're going to mainly talk about the technology one and the developer profiles. So if you go to profiles, we can see, for example, what level of educations they have, majority of them. And then if you go scroll down, where do they learn the coding? So we can see majority are learning online resources and schools. And then if you just look at the age one, which is almost important as well, you can see the younger people they are looking into online resources. Further down, which people are older, you can see then the response is different. Usually people are looking at the books and physical medias, which is also interesting. And then the years of experience is also very important. Majority of people who responded to this survey, how many years of experience they have, so you can get like some indications who actually fill in this survey. We're going to go to developer roles. And these answers are coming from what sort of people. In this case, for example, majority are full stack, backend and frontend. And then we have a few more, but you're going to get the idea anyway. So we have key territories. Again, majority are coming from the majority of people who participated here are from the United States of America, and then India, Germany, UK, Canada, and a few more countries. And then we can see again the age of people who participated here. So again, once we're gonna go and talk about the technology, you can see exactly what age group were the one who answered these questions, which could indicate different expectation, because everyone has a different expectation, and in every age pretty much people have different expectation. But now if you look at, for example, professional one, again, these are the ones. Now the important one, we're going to talk about technologies. Let's go and talk about the most popular technologies. And then here we can see the programming languages and scripting, markup, all of them together, all the responses. The most popular one is JavaScript, as it makes sense, HTML, CSS, SQL, Python, TypeScript. So I'm surprised TypeScript is a little bit lower than a few others. However, if you just combine TypeScript and JavaScript together, then it will be a very big number. But this is all the response. And if you go to learning code, now we're going to get a little bit different. Those who are learning, they start with HTML, CSS, or that's the most popular one for the learning. Then JavaScript, Python. You can see there is no TypeScript. Actually, TypeScript is very low, but then PHP, PowerShell is there. So and then if you scroll down, let's see, yes, some people are learning Go. And then how about anyone is learning Rust? Okay, I don't see it actually in the list, unfortunately. Oh yeah, there we go. Rust is here as well. But if you go to the professional one, those professional developers, they are trying to learn something, then is JavaScript, HTML, SQL, obviously makes sense so much, Python, TypeScript, and etc, etc. We are gonna go down to the database. So again, if you look into the all response, the most popular database is MySQL, which makes sense. But if you go to the professional one, Postgres is on top because of quite a few other reasons, but the numbers are very, very close. SQLite. But here with the professional one, you can see we have SQLite, MongoDB, Redis, and then DynamoDB is here. But if you're gonna go to learning one, but whoever is trying to learn, MySQL would be a very easy choice. So that's why MySQL is on the top. And Postgres here now is on the 4th position. And maybe we don't have DynamoDB is very, very low. But then if you go to the all respond, which is combination of professional developers and those who are learning to code, we're going to get almost the same, but with a little bit different order. But again, on the top, we have the relational databases. Then we have MongoDB. Again, we have SQL Server, Redis, MariaDB, and a few more. So we're going to scroll down. We're going to go and talk about the cloud platform. Obviously, it was very easy to just predict this one. Azure is coming along, and Google Cloud is also coming as well. So a few more are also here, but it would be very easy to just guess at this stage that AWS will be the top one. And if you look at this one, again, the same thing. For the learning one, Heroku is actually the first one. That's interesting. Or Google Cloud would be the second one, but then AWS would be the fourth one. That is kind of interesting, actually. Now we're going to talk about the web framework. And you can see Node.js and React are the two most common web technologies used by professional developers. And it's exactly here as well. You can see Node.js and React. jQuery is popular as well. I made a video about if anyone is using jQuery in 2022 or 2023. I'm going to leave the link on the description so you can look into that one as well. That's a very interesting one as well. So you can see the Express is also one of the frameworks that a lot of people are using, or it's popular. And then when we go to the professional one, it's still the same case. For example, Node.js, React, jQuery are there. But I think when we go to learning one, and jQuery again still is the fourth one, but Express is just on top. Okay, this is an interesting one. Now we're going to go to the other frameworks. We can see .NET, NumPy and Pandas and Spring and a few more on the list. Now it's going to talk about other tools. In this year, people were mainly looking into the NPM and Docker and Yarn. So these are again the most popular one. And if you go to the learning one, again, it's almost the same thing. Professional one, it's Docker is the first one, obviously. NPM doesn't have much to learn. I don't know why, but they're just people want to learn it. And now we're going to talk about the integrated development environment. Obviously, it's Visual Studio Code. VS Code is the top one. Visual Studio IntelliJ, Notepad++, Vim, and a few more. For the synchronous tools, we can see again Jira and Confluence are top two, and then the rest also follow. So for the synchronous tool, you can see the Slack is the third one. And if you just think about like 4 or 5 years ago, Zoom and Microsoft Teams didn't have that much of a chance. Now they're on the top two and they're just growing so much. Slack is also following, not much of a different, but that is also interesting to see what people are using. And I'm gonna go to the operating system. Windows will be the top one, Linux, Mac OS, and a few more. Here is the interesting one, most loved, dreaded, and wanted one. So you can see loved versus dreaded and then want. So if you go to love versus dreaded, we can see obviously here Rust is the first one, and then Elixir, and then Clojure, TypeScript, Julia, which I've never heard of it, Python, Delphi, Go, and a few more. And when we go to the want, again you can see people want to learn Rust so much, and then Python, TypeScript, Go, JavaScript, Kotlin. And then it's an interesting one to see what people are interested to learn and what they want to learn more and what they love, what they don't love. And if you go to the bottom of this list, obviously, we can see now MATLAB is the most dreaded one, which is not good. And COBOL, Visual Basic, VBA, Objective-C, Fortran, Groovy, Perl, my goodness, okay. A lot of these languages are not loved one for whatever reason. Well, it could be an indication of those who participated, they don't like it for a lot of reason, or they have not worked with it, or they had not a good experience. But again, we can see what our majority of developers are thinking, again, based on the response, not just everyone, because not everyone participated, but it's a good just data to have. With the database one, again, Postgres, Redis, Mongo are the good one. Everyone loved them, SQLite. But then when we go down, you can see Oracle, Cassandra, and then CouchDB and IBM DB2 are the dreaded one. So from the top to bottom. And if you look at the wanted one, they want to actually learn Postgres, MongoDB, Redis, Elasticsearch, SQLite, MySQL, and a few more. Which is very interesting actually. If you want to learn, you can see what are the trendy one and what are people trying to learn. And you can see, for example, again, maybe market is going that way, maybe a lot of job are asking for these technologies, and a lot of job advertisement are going through that one. That's why people are asking and people want to learn. Now we're going to talk about the cloud. Obviously, AWS is on the top, Azure, Google Cloud, and then when on the very bottom we have ABM. And then those who want to learn something, they want to learn AWS as a first one, Google Cloud second, Azure third. So the difference here is that if you look at the loved one, Azure is the second one, but people want to learn Google Cloud more than Azure. That's interesting. I don't know why, but there should be some reasons. And then with the web framework and technologies, you can see the loved one versus dreaded one. You can see Phoenix and Svelte are the top one. Deno, which is actually making a lot of noise and people want to learn it. Next.js, ASP.NET Core. But on the other hand, people are not very much apparently interested in AngularJS, which probably have some reasons. Drupal, jQuery, Gatsby, ASP.NET, and a few more. So you can see what people actually want to learn and what they don't like to learn, or they don't enjoy it. And then if you go to the want, you can see React.js, even though it's not in a loved one. Well, it is in a loved one. It's quite low, I think. Where is React? There we go. It's here. But in the want one, it's in a quite high one, or the top one. And there is a reason, because maybe there are a lot of job opportunities and job market are looking for the React.js, Node.js, Vue, Next, Svelte, and Django. And on the other hand, but people want to learn these a few more on the top. Or maybe because majority of people already know about this one, but these one are just a shiny one and people want to know more on the other hand. But again, this want section maybe indicate that there are a lot of jobs that are looking for React or Node.js developer. And looking at other frameworks and libraries, again, you can see some of the libraries here. And looking at other tools, Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform, Homebrew, and Pulumi, NPM, Yarn, they are just on the top one. And the one that people don't actually like is Chef, just like this. And the one that people want to learn, again, it's Docker and Kubernetes, which is really interesting one. And when we go to the integrated developer environment, then we're gonna get people want to learn NeoVim and VS Code and a few more. But what they actually want so much is obviously VS Code and Android Studio. So here is the interesting one. Here we're talking about worked with and versus want to work with. So people have worked with these technologies, for example, HTML, JavaScript, Python, Rust, SQL, TypeScript, and then that's all the response, and they want to learn again almost the same thing. But you can see, for example, here we have Python, JavaScript, HTML are the top one. We have Java, Rust, SQL, TypeScript on the left side. But then if you look at the professional one, it could be a little bit different, because TypeScript now here is a little bit bigger, C# is bigger, but all response are different. Okay, but here again, you can see what people are interested and they have worked with, and what they want to work with. So if, for example, if they want to go to next job, or if they have opportunity to choose a language for the next project, then they're gonna go with the other one, which, for example, what they want to learn. Okay, databases again. So we have Postgres is the top one, MySQL, Redis, SQLite, MariaDB, and MySQL. Okay, that's a good one. Professional one. Again, here is the same thing. Learning one, people actually want to learn. Majority want to learn MongoDB, SQLite, Postgres, and MySQL. Web framework, Node.js and React are the top one. And then we have Express, Next, jQuery, and some people still want to learn Angular, which is interesting one. Professional one is the same case for the learning one, but then you can see we don't have, for example, Angular because people don't want to learn Angular for a lot of reasons. But here again, we can see Next.js, Node, React, jQuery, Vue, and Django are the one that people are learning or they want to learn. And then I'm going to actually move to the top paying technology because that's a very interesting one. So if we look at the top paying technologies, if you're looking to learn something or you want to change job in the future and work with a technology that they pay more, which could be a lot of reasons, because maybe it's not as shiny and interesting as other technologies. Maybe there are very few jobs and the market is very small, that's why they pay more. There could be a lot of reasons, but you can see, for example, for the programming, scripting and markup languages, the most paid one, the top paid one is Clojure, Erlang, F#, Lisp, Ruby, Elixir, Scala, Perl, Go, Rust. And then if you look, for example, JavaScript and TypeScript are not very high, because again, the bigger the competition and more people are in the market, you're not going to get that much of a chance unless you're a very, very good engineer. And if you look at the database, those who work with the DynamoDB, obviously they're going to get more Couchbase, Cassandra, Neo4j, and Elasticsearch, and all of these things. With the platform, we can say we have collocations, AWS, IBM, and a few more. Web framework, so with the Phoenix, this is the more money, Ruby on Rails, Play framework, Deno, Gatsby, Svelte, and a few more. I'm going to go to others. Obviously, again, you can see the most paid one here. We have other tools, and again, if you remember, Chef was on the very bottom of the list for dreaded one. No one really liked to work with it, but they're going to pay more. There are a lot of reasons. For example, maybe not a lot of people want to work with that technology, so if you find a few people, they can charge more, and that's how it works actually at some point. And here, those who get paid more, obviously they are using these technologies, or they're using these integrated development environments. Okay, I'm gonna move here. The changes in salaries between 21 to 22, and that also an interesting one. For example, in 2021, the salary for the COBOL was around 52. Then in 2022, it just gone high to 75. And then Erlang is also the same. Assembly is good. So pretty much most of these jobs, they had like an increase. Clojure is a good one as well. Other languages, you can see they don't pay that much for the PHP developers. JavaScript is the same thing, TypeScript is the same thing again. So here with APL, you can see, for example, it hasn't changed that much for whatever reason. But again, you can see what is happening with the majority of these job salaries. So salaries are increasing to compare with 2021. Majority of people who participate in this survey, they were full-time, and the rest of them, you can see we have students and a few more. And again, most of the people in United States who participate here, again, they are full-time. You have students. You can go to India, it's the same game. Germany is the same thing, United Kingdom and Canada. So most of people who participate here, their employment status was full-time workers. So that's an interesting one as well. And they are, you can see, this is an interesting one because about the work environment, and specifically after COVID, we are working more remotely. Now you can see, and we have around 43% of people who are fully remote. Then we have 42% hybrid, and then some of them are like 14 or 15%. They are just going to office every day. But this is interesting because you can see where the market is going and where the jobs are going. You can see if you can get, like, for example, job for full remote or hybrid. So this is interesting number. And then if you look at the organization size, so if they are only working alone, so freelancers or independent one, majority of them fully remote. But then you can see it doesn't matter exactly the size of the company, even if they are more than 10,000 or 5,000 to 10,000. Again, a lot of them are working remote. And the purple one in this case is the hybrid, and then the least of them actually are working in the office. And then you can see in the startups or smaller companies, actually mostly they're asking people to go to office 20% more than everyone else. But then the bigger the company, I assume they're not asking that much of a time to go to office. So we're going to move to the next section, which is salary. This is salary by developer type. So obviously based on their job title, you can see how much they make. This is the median actually of yearly salary in USD. So if they are senior executive, they're gonna get quite a lot, obviously. And then engineer managers, engineers, security professionals, we can see blockchains, engineer data, DevOps. Then you can see product manager, marketing, data scientist. So here again, if you have not started yet, and if you want to learn something and you don't know, maybe this is also something to look into. For example, if you want to be a DevOps, if you want to look into the blockchains, if you want to look to, I don't know, security or whatever else, this is also a good indication. Obviously, that's one of them because your interest can help. Again, maybe some areas are not for you at all. Some of these areas on the top took, I don't know, quite a few years to get there, requires a lot of experience, but you eventually will get there. But you can see again, if you want to start slow, that's what you're going to get. So again, if you look at the designers or educators, front-end engineers, mobile developers, to compare, for example, with the back-end or some other job types, then salaries are different. And this is also a good one if you are if you're considering this in your research. Next one is about the salary versus experience. So here is how many years of experience on the bottom, and the top, the more you go to high, is the salary. So seniors are actually making the most, even more than managers. And then we have security, product, marketing. The more you're in this side of the chart, the less people make money, and the more you go to the top right, they're gonna make more. So this is also, if you are interested, that's another diagram. I'm gonna actually move to the next one, which is again salary and experience by language. So here we have Delphi. So if you have a lot of experience with Delphi, then your salary is not going to be high, unfortunately. But you can see, for example, 22 years of experience is around like 60 to 70. But then if you go and learn Erlang, even with 14 years or 13 years of experience, you could get a good money, which is interesting. Again, if you're going to learn something new, why not to learn something that's going to give you good money? Okay, so and the rest of them actually are, if you want to go and look into this survey, you can, but majority of them are just really a question about Stack Overflow, and if someone is going to buy software, what is the process? This just maybe some information very important for specific people. But in terms of the languages and technologies, you get the idea about best paid one versus experience versus technology and remote work, hybrid work, and a lot of these things. So I hope this survey or this kind of survey gave you some indications about if you want to learn something and in the industry and the technology that you're using today, what is going to happen if you go and change it to something else, and you can just have a little bit better and more clear path if you're going to choose something else. At this stage, we are at the end of the video, and I hope you like this type of videos. Please, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.